Welcome to How to Run Profitable Retreats. I am Lainey Cavazos, retreat strategist and host of the show for coaches, entrepreneurs, and transformational leaders who want to design retreats that actually make money. If you've ever put your heart into a retreat only to walk away exhausted or worse, broke, you are not alone. This podcast is here to change that. Each week, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you create meaningful, transformational retreats that also support your business, your lifestyle, and your bottom line. Let's make your next retreat not just powerful, but profitable. All right. Welcome back to another podcast episode of How to Run Profitable Retreats. I am your host, Lainey Cavazos, and today I am so excited to have Marisa Wong here with me. She's the queen of experiences. She's a visionary, entrepreneur, speaker, and author, redefining what it means to live an extraordinary life. She is the founder and CEO of My World Experiences, and she has led over 250 transformational retreats and events for Fortune 100 companies and global leaders. She is known for her contagious energy, and I can vouch for that because we just met and I already love her energy. She's very wise, right? And she really is very good at getting people to refuel before work burnout so they can reconnect with play. So, Marisa, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate you just even opening up the opportunity to come meet with you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love to bring experts into this podcast because this is a room for all of us retreat leaders, experience creators who are building transformation in the world to grow and expand, right? We can even call it elevate, even though it's a little bit of a fancy word. But I really love this podcast to be a place for people to see opportunities beyond what their eyes can see at the moment. So thank you so much for being here. I mean, it's an honor to have someone who has hosted over 250 retreats / experiences. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that as we go.
Perfect.
So, Marisa, tell me, why did you start this journey? Like, why experiences? And well, for everyone who's listening, just know that today we're going to be talking about experiences, even though they're kind of retreats. But just consider everything as in the transformational space, creating a container for people to change their lives. So, Marisa, tell me a little bit about your why experiences and why this?
Well, before we tap into experiences, I guess in most people's terminology, our day to day, everybody knows it as an event, right? Everybody's heard an event before. I look at events as sort of like a meeting that you have in your calendar. And you book it in, just like you and I are having this meeting here, and it's an event, right? But what we walk away with, similar to what you just mentioned, how we transform to who we were, 10 minutes ago to who we will be in the next 20 minutes. That's the experience, right? The feeling that you're giving to people. And so when I first started my journey in university as an event planner, I was running our sports varsity games and bringing thousands of people to come and watch our football players, our hockey team. And how do you get those fans to be entertained and also be cheering and having fun? And I fell in love with that energy, that vibe, the essence of who we were as, one university supporting the players, right? And I was like, how do I do this? How do I do this for a living? And in the sports world, I found out that you can actually run events for sports. What? That is so cool. Okay, so how do I get in on this? And I had an internship already at a company when I first started when I was 16. And I noticed that they sponsor one of the biggest events in Canada for tennis, which was Rogers Cup. And I said to myself, I was like, okay, I just have to somehow figure out a way to work on that team. And as an athlete, you are so focused on a goal, you go and do it. And I met with the event manager at the time, and I said to him, I really want to work on your team. How do I do that? And so with consistency and persistence, the next year I was on his team and learning the ropes about events, sponsorship, partnerships. And I did that over the course of my 12 years in the corporate world. And one of the biggest things I got out of it was that everybody loves an event. Everybody loves to play, to have fun. And whatever it is, whether it's sports, whether it's wellness, whether it is arts, culture, you have to create an event to bring people together. But the difference is, and what people remember about going to that event is the experience. And what makes that experience? The feeling that you give to people. Okay. So for me, going back to your original question of how did I get into this, it was both a combination of luck, persistence, with resilience, and throwing spaghetti on the wall and just seeing what sticks. You end up just figuring out what you like, what you don't like. I think similar to you, Lenny, when you were in the corporate space and you learned so much about how to build a business for other people, how to be profitable, how to create these events that people really love, or building programs that people love, and then figuring out what is that you love to do. And I really started to figure out that um, I love sports, I love events, I love business. Why not combine them, right? And then on the similar journey like you, just before COVID, I had a breakup with my partner, and I needed a place to escape to. And what Eat, Pray, Love teaches you, escape to Bali. So I escaped to Bali.
I love it.
And I was only meant to go there for, 30 days in October. And I found love more with that place. And I canceled that flight and I ended up staying there for 3 years. And I built wellness retreats for a company called F45. We built our own brand of retreats. And I just learned that if I'm good at building events, I love sports, I'm an athlete, I love people, want to bring people together, and let's all transform together. So that is how it started. And it just kept on growing from there.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And you just made me remember this experience that we created. So, for everyone who's new to this, like I was working for Marriott, I was part of the team to launch Marriott Bonvoy, the loyalty program. The more you stay at Marriott hotels, the more rewards you get, free breakfast, free upgrades, and then you get points. And then these points you can exchange for experiences, right?
Yes.
So we created one that it was a tour from one Ritz-Carlton. This was in the Middle East, to the Ritz-Carlton in Oman, and it was with sports cars, right? So the route was like absolutely beautiful, right? And then everything was curated because it was a partnership between like Formula One and the Ritz-Carlton brand, right? So think about it from the space of experience. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you just made me remember of this amazing like experience that we created for our loyal customers that had this mixture of luxury plus sports. So anything is possible. Like this could
Yes.
be a retreat on its own. I mean, I am sure people would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars if they could do it, and then have, because we used to have this usually happens after the Formula One event, right? Like that's when we created it. But you could also have a meet and greet with a driver, right? Like there's so many things that you can add on to the experience that will make someone's dream come true.
Exactly. And that's the formula of our business is start off with what that event is, which it could be Formula One, or it could start off with like, I want to go to the Ritz-Carlton in Oman. Okay, go there. Now, what else is happening around there during the dates that you are there? What do you want to walk away with? What do you want to see, do, feel? Put all of that in there. And then you'll start to slowly build out your itinerary as well naturally. Because when you have the focus, the determination that I'm going to Ritz-Carlton Oman, I want to see this, I want to eat this, I want to feel like this, I also want to explore this, all those options come into place, and magically, boom, you have this itinerary. And all you need to do is then either go yourself, which I've done countless occasions, or bring some of your friends or your clients or even your family. People love experiences. And if you already have a plan, all you need to do is just tell people about it and they'll come and join you.
I love this because it is so important. We go as a family, we go on family retreats. It's a little bit intense, I have
Beautiful.
to tell you. It's amazing, right? But it's intense because we're like family. We have like all the dynamics, but then you're going doing it, and then we have like yoga because my brother is a yoga teacher, and then sometimes a friend comes and they do we sing mantras, and then sometimes I'll bring my instruments because I'm also a sound healer on the side. I mean, I don't really practice it it's not a business of mine, it's just something I love doing, and then everything comes together, but also it's about understanding, like, you know what, I don't want to see anyone right now, I'm on holidays, I spend so much time
Yeah,
with my family already. So like finding this like balance of creating a place where we're together, but at the same time you're not overwhelmed. It's just a beautiful dance when we're creating
agreed.
experiences.
That's the rhythm, right? Is to be able to find your frequency, your own frequency, not what people have told you that you need to do. You need to go to work every day. You need to do, do your laundry. You need to pick up the kids. You need to do this. You need to go on your, see this person, all these appointments. But when you are able to remove yourself from your natural environment, and either you go with your family or go with whoever else you want to go with, excuse me, and when you get there, then you can sort of find that rhythm and path again that feeds your soul. And when I say that, I really mean it because we often forget that dialogue with ourself, right? What is that we want? What do you want to do? What does Lenny want to see? Because we're often so focused as givers for other people, what they want. How can I serve them? But in these moments, it's so important to remember that what does Lenny, what does Marissa want? How can I serve myself? Because when you refill that cup, it is then where we're able to give more plentifully to other people.
Hmm. Yeah, I really like this. And now you remind me of how much I have not done it like in the past 2 years because it's been so busy, but I used to travel by myself, right? And then just create and go to a place and just, go to the museum and spend as many hours as I wanted in the museum with no one saying, hey, I'm hungry or this and that, or waking up late or staying the whole day in the hotel room and just resting or going to the spa,
Yeah.
right? It's about
Yes.
building that life that you dream of.
100%. And it's really, well, I'm grateful that you shared this story and that you got reminded of that. And that's my purpose is to remind ourselves through our own experiences of what life is really about, right? Taking time for you. You give so much by creating these magical experiences and retreats for others. But when was the last time that Lenny took one? When have you gone on a solo trip? And if it's been 2 years, girl, it's time.
Yeah.
Time for you.
Yeah, I definitely go on a lot of retreats though. I was in one
Yes,
a
of
month ago,
course.
but I need my solo time for sure.
Exactly.
It's definitely it's gonna go into my plans probably early this year because we get to be so lucky
Amazing.
because we get to
Let me
travel,
know where you
right?
go.
Yes,
Yes.
like I mean, we're recording this in November, but I'm going to Long Beach in like a couple of days, and then I come back, and then we go on a family cruise for Christmas, right? So there's all these things happening when we are really aligned with what we want to do. So for everyone who's listening, I want you to ask yourselves, what are you doing? Is it aligned? And are you actually running your business like a business? And this is a question that I always will ask everyone who's here in this when you're listening to this podcast episode, because so many times we're so good sometimes at creating the experiences, but then we don't know how to sell them or we don't know how to profit from them. So it's this balance that we need to create in order to really, really get everything that we desire. And Marisa, like maybe please share a little bit about your business and what you do and your business model for everyone who's listening, so they can understand a little bit more about like what you bring to the table, what makes it different, and just let's inspire some people because you have an amazing business.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, Now, again, it didn't come easy, but I'll go back to the basics of energy, right? Money is energy. What we exchanging here in terms of conversation, knowledge, that is energy, right? And when we break it down as simple as that, is that energy exchange, why would we be so afraid of not exchanging money, right? It's just a currency. Okay. So I think a lot of us, and what I've noticed in the wellness world and as instructors or event planners, we are so scared to ask for our value, our worth in terms of money, right? I even growing up in the events world, I was put a ceiling on my head that, oh, event planners, you're only supposed to make $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $80,000 a year, 100 grand. Don't even think about it. That's only salespeople. That's only executives. Well, I call that BS. Okay, I'm going to tell you all right here, right now, you can make money doing art as an artist. You can make money even as a yoga instructor. You can make money as a sound healer. You can make money as an event planner, more than you can even imagine. But you can only achieve what you truly believe in, what you're visualizing in. If you don't believe that you can make that type of money, it's not going to happen, right? So you have to truly believe it. That was the biggest lesson that I learned over my years of doing that self-development and working on myself, is to remove a lot of those limiting beliefs, remove um the ceiling that I had, and now shifting it where it is, I'm limitless. I am worthy of receiving all the money because I give so much. I'm here to serve. Why am I creating these retreats? Why am I here even chatting with you? Because I want to be able to help your listeners see that building retreats, treat it like a business, yes, but also make sure that you're treating yourself as much as you want people to treat you. You need to give that back to yourself, right? So that's super important. And that's my love language, is to be able to see, feel, connect with so many people and see them light up. Because the more givers we have in this world, the more light workers, people are creating these retreats, the better this world will be. More people in the corporate space need us, right? So if you are not a profitable business, you're not going to continue on, right? But we want you all to be profitable so we can continue to raise the consciousness of humankind and bring more people to the space to transform. So how do we do that? First and foremost, a step back and look at a retreat as a business, right? What does it take? What does it cost to build it? Let's say it costs $10 to build it. Okay, well, you need money. Okay, like, need a profit. How much money as a profit do you want? Do you want 10%? Do you want 20%, 30%? We'll break it down just in margins, right? We usually say within minimum 10 to 15% margin as a profit. Okay, that's after your costs and so forth. Or if you want more because you're able to, you're something unique, something that people want, or you're only doing it once a year, then you can increase it. But whatever that is, justify it on your own terms of your margin. But make sure you cover your hard costs and then set out what your margins are. That's breaking it down. Just simple one, two, three type of math that I think a lot of us, even myself, when I was first building out my treats, I wasn't really looking at what are my profit losses? What does it take to build this retreat? How much do I want to make from this? Because just to buy the simple things like food, drinks, a roof over my head, I need to cover my costs, right? And if you're going to be doing this as a full-time job, you need to treat this like it's a full-time business, not something that's on the side of your desk that you can do on your spare time, because you are going to drain yourself. It's hard doing two things at once, right? I know we're women and men who we think we are multitasking. Yes, we can. But when you focus everything into this business and you do it well, you do it right, create profit from it, that's when the magic happens.
Mm, I love it. And I think this is so, like, you said so many good things here, Marisa. First of all, knowing your costs. And I want to just add something here in the space of, you have your profit margin, but for everyone who's listening, that does not include your salary and the salary of your employees. Your
Nope.
profit margin is after you paid yourself for the work you did.
After all of your costs.
Yes. It's just, we see a lot in the retreat space that people do not consider their time a cost, and it is a cost. If you had to hire someone else to do it, you would have to pay them. right? So it needs to be
Yes.
on your cost spread, like on your spreadsheet. Yeah.
I One of the things that I did when starting up my business is that I paid everyone else but me.
Mm.
Whether I thought about it as being selfless, whether I thought about it as I want everybody else to be taken care of, yes, that's great. But remember when you are on the plane and your stewardess says, if this plane should go down, are you going to take that oxygen mask and give it to someone else first, or do you give it to yourself first?
Mm-hmm. You
We
have to.
have to give the exactly. You can't save anyone if you're not alive, right? So make sure you put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And then also look at, hey, how can I help others and be able to give them oxygen? Well, okay, let's create more opportunities. Okay, where are the costs? How can we add them into the overall cost? Okay, maybe not. Let's increase our margins even more after that, right? So there's a lot of balancing act, but the first thing is to look at what are your costs and count everything in it, including your own salary.
Yeah, I think this is so important for everyone. And it's just a great reminder in general for all of us all the time. Like we need to remind ourselves because it's just so easy to just get excited and or and just get lose track because when you're your marketing team, your sales team, your everything team at the beginning of an entrepreneur journey, it can be very overwhelming. Now another thing that you said that I think it's so important here is how like putting these experiences together and retreats together can just be so rewarding for everyone who's attending and creating this experience that is something that you would actually attend yourself. I think this is so important because we do need to think about our ideal client and how we talk to them. And I want to just move this conversation a little bit towards that direction because your company is Marisa Wong experiences. Like, well, experience with Marisa is your Instagram handle, right? Experience with Marisa. So you can find her on Instagram, right? Already. But basically, I want to talk about this little thing that we spoke before we started this podcast episode on how you don't call your retreats, even though they're transformational containers. You call them experiences because your market is mainly corporate market. Why would you do that and not call it retreats?
Well, first things first is words are very powerful, right? And if you look at the word retreat, you immediately think of, well, I'm retreating from something, right? And we don't want our customers, our guests to retreat from their lives. Yes, they could be escaping or they thinking that they need a retreat and so forth, but we want them to experience transformation. Okay. And then once they experience that transformation, when they go back to their normal environments, we want them continue to live and breathe what they learned on our trips and integrate it into their lives. So integration is super important. So for us, that's why we call them experiences, because we want people to feel, we want people to be able to rave about the experience that they had versus calling it retreat. Now, from a global marketing perspective, we still align with the word retreat because it's easily known, right? Call it whatever you may, a retreat, a corporate event, experience, a wellness getaway, an escape, whatever it is, make sure that you're giving them an experience. Okay. That's the fundamental root. And that's why we coined it experience for all the events that we do. Now, to your first question about corporates as our clients, we do cater specifically directly to the B2B market, which is business to business. So, like a company like a Google or a Samsung or let's just say a clothing brand would come to us and they would want to take 30 people to a unique remote location and so forth. Our client is that one person, right? Quote unquote, let's say company B, a company blue. Okay. And we then serve the 30 people directly. So for us, it's easier in that sense where I have one client and then we serve your 30 guests, right? That's business to business. We're a business, we sell to a business. Now, the other way is business to consumer. So I would sell, like, I would invite you, Lenny, to one of our experiences. So that's one to one. So that's a business to consumer. You're the end consumer who's paying us to come on our group trip, right? Now, now that I only have one to one with you, it could be a one to one experience. That's fine. Or I can bring you in with 29 other people to make up 30. Now, why do I focus on the business market? One, because that's my area of expertise of doing it for 12 years for one corporate company, but then also in the events industry for 25 years. It's something that I'm familiar with, right? And it's where my connections are and so forth. So I just stick to what I'm good at. For some people, they want to serve the individuals. That's okay too. We also serve the individuals. So we create retreats that are the leaders and executives that want to come on their own or maybe with a partner. Or we also have events that are privately curated. A husband wanted to do it for his wife for her 50th birthday. So we have those as well. We just cater to the leaders and executives and caregivers who want to either create an event for their company or for their family or for themselves and with their group of friends, whichever it is, we're flexible. But it's up to you as if you're when you're building out your business to ask yourself, who do you want to serve? Who are you most comfortable with? And I like your question of, what does my customer want? That's really important because when you're creating these retreats, the itineraries, make sure it's catered to what they really want. What do they like? And ask them, send them a questionnaire, get to know your guests so that when they walk away, they feel like you've taken good care of them.
Yeah, I think this is so important. And yeah, I've run retreats just business to business and private retreats for families and for events and all this like different things that have happened in my life. I mean, it's like an endless list of events because it's over like 100 events, I would say. And it's just so interesting because it's a completely different marketing strategy if you think about it. So I want to ask everyone who's here to just, really ask yourselves the questions. What do I want to serve? Do I want to be doing B2B or B2C? Because so many times what I see out there is they want to do B2B and they want to do B2C. And the reality behind the scenes is that they need to choose one
Correct.
because it's a completely different marketing strategy, sales method, language, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned like Samsung and Google, so I'm guessing at some point you worked with some of them, but could you go and tell them something like, oh, let's come and, raise your consciousness? And they'll be like, oh, yes, let's go. Or would they be like, what is she talking about?
Well, again, a lot of the executives and folks in those organizations are actually more awakened than we think, right? That's how they're able to build such profound businesses that impact millions and billions of lives. The one thing of how do you connect with the decision maker is the most important thing in finding out what is it that they want? What's their main objective for even doing this, right? And oftentimes they know either they want to do something because their objective is to create better connection with my team or to have a moment to have an offsite to ideate about our next year strategy. But I want to add something that's a little bit different than our typical boardroom style. Okay, so there may be some more flexibility to ideate ideas. They have some sort of idea, or they may not. And then there's some folks who say, no, I'm very specific. I want to be able to go to Sedona. I need to have it on these days. I want to be able to have sound bath. I want to be able to have breath work. I want to be able to um, stay in this location. So there's some groups that are super specific. Again, as the curator of the experience, no matter what, whether they know it or they don't know it, get to know your guests so that you know exactly how to pick it out for them. I can't speak this enough is like we as human beings are always so fluffy sometimes. We're not very clear, specific about what we want. We don't know what we want. Okay, so we lean on someone else, right? So we as the planners need to do a really good job at listening really need to do a good job at finding out what is out there, being the experts in our field so that we can recommend the best experience for your end guest.
I love this, Marisa. Thank you so much for being here today. And for everyone who's listening, just take a second to think about everything that we covered because we did cover a lot, right? About, basically what's an experience, right? How if B2B versus B2C, how you need to run your business like a business, know your numbers, right? And how you can create experiences and retreats from absolutely anything. And lastly, but not least important, how money is everywhere and you can generate money from whatever career path you choose to have. And that's so
Exactly.
liberating.
It
So,
is. I
yes.
hope my years of experience in this industry helps at least one person in this community. And all I have to say is thank you, Lenny, for inviting me to come and join and speak and share the knowledge with your community. And I hope that we continue to step forth in our callings of creating more retreats and make them profitable so that we can impact more lives.
I love it. And everyone who wants to connect with Marisa, just check her website, mwexperiences.com, and you'll have the link in the show notes. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for being here, Marisa.
Thank you, Lenny. And if anybody wants to connect on Instagram, it is Experience with Marissa with one S. So chat there. If any questions, send me a DM and I'm happy to chat with you.
Yay,
Sending
amazing.
love.